Billions of burgers, millions of blunders. McDonald's, the Golden Arches, a symbol recognized worldwide, synonymous with fast food, convenience, and a certain level of comfort. But behind those arches lies a story filled with triumphs and, more interestingly, a plethora of blunders. A beacon of burgers and fries, a symbol of American capitalism, and, let's be honest, a late-night craving you swear you'll regret in the morning. It's everywhere. It's inescapable. From bustling city centers to quiet suburban streets, McDonald's has planted its flag in nearly every corner of the globe. It's a testament to the power of branding and the universal appeal of a quick, tasty meal. It's also made its fair share of mistakes, and not just the small, forgettable ones. We're talking about the kind of mistakes that make headlines, that become case studies in business schools, and that leave you wondering, what were they thinking? We're not talking about accidentally putting pickles on your cheeseburger when you specifically asked for none. Although, let's be real, that's a tragedy in itself. No, these are the kind of blunders that go down in history, that become part of the brand's lore. We're talking about epic, colossal, did they really just do that kind of mistakes? The kind that make you cringe, laugh, and maybe even feel a little bit better about your own missteps. From product launches that crashed and burned faster than a McRib withdrawal to marketing campaigns that would make Don Draper cringe, McDonald's has had its fair share of spectacular failures. Remember the Arch Deluxe or the McPizza? These were products that were supposed to revolutionize the menu but ended up being quietly shelved. McDonald's has had a history as messy as a Big Mac after a pub crawl. Each misstep, each failed product, each marketing blunder adds another layer to the complex, often chaotic story of this fast food behemoth. But why should we care about the missteps of a fast food giant? Why should we take the time to delve into these tales of corporate woe and wonder? Because, my friends, beneath the greasy veneer of deep-fried failures lies a treasure trove of business lessons. Each mistake is a lesson in what not to do, a cautionary tale that can teach us about the pitfalls of business, marketing, and product development. These are the cautionary tales, the what not to do's, the if they can screw up this badly, maybe there's hope for the rest of us moments. They remind us that even the biggest, most successful companies can falter, that perfection is an illusion, and that every failure is an opportunity to learn and grow. So buckle up, grab a questionable but strangely addictive McFlurry, and let's dive into the wonderful world of McDonald's biggest blunders. From the Deluxe to the Hula Burger, we'll explore the products that flopped, the campaigns that missed the mark, and the decisions that left us scratching our heads. We promise it's more entertaining than a Happy Meal toy, and significantly less likely to end up in a landfill. So sit back, relax, and get ready for a journey through the fascinating, often hilarious, and always educational world of McDonald's missteps. You might just learn something that could save your own business from a similar fate. The McFlop parade when innovation goes sideways. The noble pursuit of innovation. It's a double-edged spatula. In the fast-paced world of fast food, companies are always looking for the next big thing to capture the public's imagination and taste buds. But sometimes in their quest to stand out, they end up with a product that leaves everyone scratching their heads. Sometimes you get the McMuffin, other times you get the McLobster? Yes, that happened. Imagine walking into your local McDonald's expecting the usual fare of burgers and fries, only to find a lobster roll on the menu. It was a bold move, but not necessarily a smart one. For a brief, shining and utterly baffling moment, McDonald's thought it was a good idea to sell lobster rolls in their landlocked restaurants. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. The McLobster was met with confusion and skepticism, and it quickly became clear that this was one innovation that was not going to catch on. And who could forget the Arch Deluxe? This was McDonald's attempt to appeal to a more sophisticated palate, a burger that was supposed to elevate the fast food experience. This burger was supposed to be McDonald's sophisticated older brother, the one who sipped Merlot and listened to NPR. It was marketed as a premium product with a higher price tag to match. Instead, it tasted like a midlife crisis. The Arch Deluxe failed to resonate with customers who found it overpriced and underwhelming. It turns out that when people go to McDonald's, they aren't looking for a gourmet experience. It turns out people craving a burger don't actually want a side of existential angst. They want something familiar, comforting, and most importantly, delicious. The list goes on. The McAfrica, tone deaf much, a product that was launched during a time of famine in Africa, which made it not only a commercial failure but also a public relations disaster. The Hula Burger, a pineapple-adorned travesty, which was an attempt to offer a vegetarian option but ended up being a flavor combination that few could stomach. And the Arch Deluxe, proof that you can't just slap the word lean on something and call it healthy. This burger was McDonald's attempt to cater to the health-conscious crowd, but it was dry, tasteless, and ultimately unappealing. The takeaway: sometimes the best innovation is knowing when to leave your classics alone. While it's important to evolve and try new things, it's equally important to remember what made you successful in the first place. For McDonald's, that means sticking to what they do best, serving up simple, satisfying fast food that people love. Supersizing problems, the perils of rapid expansion. McDonald's loves to expand, like really loves it. From bustling cities to remote towns, the golden arches seem to pop up everywhere, almost overnight. It's the fast food equivalent of that friend who's always starting new projects but never quite finishes the old ones. You know the type, full of enthusiasm at the start, but then things get complicated and suddenly there are half-finished endeavors everywhere. But this go big or go home mentality has landed them in some sticky situations. Rapid expansion can lead to logistical nightmares, supply chain issues, and even the occasional restaurant closure. It's not always as smooth as flipping a burger. Take, for instance, their foray into some of the most, let's say, culturally distinct markets. McDonald's has tried to adapt to local tastes, but sometimes these efforts miss the mark. Remember when they tried to win over Iceland with the McDonald kebab? It was an ambitious attempt to blend local flavors with their classic menu, but it didn't quite catch on. Or when they introduced seaweed-flavored McNuggets to Japan. While innovative, it left many customers scratching their heads, wondering why their beloved nuggets tasted like the ocean. It turns out that sometimes a Big Mac is just a Big Mac, and no amount of localization can change that. The core appeal of McDonald's lies in its consistency, and straying too far from that can be risky. Then there's the issue of oversaturation. In their quest to be everywhere, McDonald's sometimes ends up competing with itself. Have you ever been in a town so small it only had 2 McDonald's right across the street from each other? It's a classic case of too much of a good thing. This cannibalistic approach might seem profitable on paper, but it often leads to diminishing returns and a whole lot of confused customers. When 2 locations are so close, they end up splitting the same customer base, which can hurt both stores. Moderation, McDonald's moderation. Expansion is great, but only when it's done thoughtfully and strategically. Otherwise, it's just a recipe for chaos. Have it your way, or else customer backlash and menu mishaps. Remember when McDonald's tried to be fancy and offer customizable burgers? It was like letting a toddler loose in a paint store, messy, chaotic, and ultimately disastrous. Customers were overwhelmed by the endless choices. Employees were driven to the brink of madness, and the whole thing went down in a symphony of wilted lettuce and misplaced special sauce. And don't even get us started on the McRib. This limited-time-only marketing ploy is the culinary equivalent of a bad boyfriend. It disappears for months on end, only to reappear unannounced, claiming to be different this time, when we all know it's the same rib-shaped patty of disappointment. McDonald's, if you're going to toy with our emotions and our stomachs, at least have the decency to fully commit. And there you have it. Beneath the greasy veneer of these deep-fried failures lies a treasure trove of business lessons. Each mistake is a lesson in what not to do, a cautionary tale that can teach us about the pitfalls of business, marketing, and product development.